It is truly an honor for me to be up in front of you guys today. It really is. I'm very humbled. When a group of students asked you to speak at their graduation, that was a real humbling experience for me. So I do want to say thank you, a very sincere thank you. When I was thinking about graduation and what I should say, I've been to a lot of them now since I graduated from high school, and I don't know if I really remember anything anybody's ever said. I know I don't from my high school graduation. I don't remember who said what speech or anything like that. I know my mom, I remember she was kind of sad, I hope anyways. Those were tears of sadness. I know she was worried. Some of you mothers are probably worried about the reception. My mom was really worried about the reception that we were having. Did she make enough barbecues and that type of stuff? My dad is kind of from the old school. We grew up on a farm. And I remember his comment, boy, this would be a good day to be in the field. So I do remember some of those things. By the way, my parents gave me luggage for my graduation gift. I'm still not sure how to interpret that. Well, I want to talk to you guys about three things today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Boy, we've heard this guy talk for an hour on one thing. The only thing that stopped him was the bell. But I promise you we'll keep her short for you. First thing, I want you to think about something. Where you're at right now. LaMoure High School gym. That's pretty simple. Graduation, that's pretty simple. So far so good with that one. The trickier question is this. Where do you want to be? Where are you going to go with your life? Now think about that just for a little bit. What the plans are. What does the future hold for you? That's a little trickier. And the trickier one is how are you going to get there? And that's real tricky. A lot of thinking involved in that. I've been here 5 years. You guys were 8th graders when I came, right? Something like that. And in the next 4 or 5 years of your life, you're planning out your future. You're planning out your next 25 or 30. That's an interesting thing to think about. What am I going to do in the next 4 or 5 years? And it flies by really fast. So you have some things to think about, and I challenge you to think about some of those things today. I believe you all have an important role to play in this world. Some of you that have taken psychology, Carl Jung would say the same thing. He would say, we all have something to do, it's just finding it out. And I think you will. Second thing I want to talk to you about. I've got an assignment for you. You're going to boycott assignments now, right? This one's an easy one. I just want everybody to look kind of that way. Go ahead and just look that way. It's okay, Troy, you can look that way. I want you to look that way. Go ahead and look that way. And if you're really good, you can kind of look back at the band. Can you turn around and kind of stare at the band? Good job. That's the last time this is going to look like this. Last time it's going to feel like this. That's a great moment. Something magical happens when you walk out those doors today. You become alumni of LaMoure High School. And it never truly is the same when you walk back in those doors again. The feeling is never the same. And it never really looks like this again, the way you're sitting here today. It's an amazing feeling when you walk out these doors. Something magical does happen. I wanted to refer to your senior invitation. It says, as seniors, we all have our ambitions, our own dreams to pursue. But wherever our separate pathways take us, will always be the class of 1988. 1998. You know that? You got me nervous. I'll follow that one. Never forget where you guys came from. That's my second thing I want to make sure you understand. Never forget this. You're from LaMoure. Your school, your community, everybody's pretty happy with you. Never ever forget that. Wherever you end up in life, it all started here. Never forget that. They're going to put a picture up in the walls and say, People are going to look at that 50 years from now and they're going to make fun of you. Just like you do to them. Jesse Wald, your grandchildren are going to look at that and they're going to say, wow, look at all the hair he has. Never forget where you came from. I told you I was going to talk about three things, and I've hit two of them. First one was, what do you want to do with your life? How are you going to get there? Second thing was, never forget where you came from. And the last point I want to make to you guys is, I think the most important one for me anyways as a teacher. What's this all about? What are we doing here? Graduation exercises, commencement exercises, what's it all about? Why do we have to go to school from grades K through 12? What's the importance of all of this? Well, I make the argument that there's a lot of importance in filling your minds up with a lot of knowledge. I sometimes joke with Mr. Shimke, I know he's sitting out there, I've never, ever used a lot of geometry I learned in high school. And really the only thing I can remember from high school geometry was the angle-side theorem. The angle A, side, S. A-A-S. That spells out my last name. That's the only thing I can remember. But boy, did it do a lot for me in my thinking skills and developing how to think. This thing up there called our brain needs to be developed, it needs to be challenged, it needs to be worked on. And I read somewhere it's kind of like a parachute. It needs to be opened every once in a while to work. And I think that's what we're doing, all of us as teachers, is trying to get you guys to think. Putting something in this thing called a brain to help you out in the future. The Old Testament tells us this, happy is the man who finds wisdom, the man who gains understanding. For her profit is better than profit in silver, and better than gold is her revenue. That's a powerful statement. Most people 2,000 years ago you kind of agreed with. Better than gold is her revenue. That's an interesting thing, don't forget that. And I think the other thing that really signifies what I believe in education is a book by a guy named Frank McCourt. Frank McCourt he was born in the United States to Irish immigrants, really poor, didn't have a lot of money, grew up in the 1930s. He wrote a book, and I want to just quote you a little bit from his book, and I think it really hits the significance of an education. Here's what he says, you have to study and learn so that you can make up your own mind about history and everything else. But you can't make up an empty mind. Stock your mind. Stock your mind. It is your house of treasure, and no one in the world can interfere with it. If you won the Irish sweepstakes and bought a house that needed furniture, would you fill it with bits and pieces of rubbish? Your mind is your house, and if you fill it with bits and pieces of rubbish, it will rot in your head. You might be poor, your shoes might be broken, but your mind is your palace. The final things up today to finish for you. Walt Disney once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So I challenge all of you to dream it. I challenge all of you to do it. And I challenge all of you, no matter what little world you're in, whatever little corner of the world you're in, I challenge you to make a difference. Thank you today for giving me the opportunity to speak at your commencement ceremonies. It truly, very sincerely has been an honor to be your teacher. Appreciate the time you've given me.